Hi everybody, welcome to Raising Siposetu. Sorry you guys if I look a little bit or the video looks a little bit darker. I'm just lazy to set up my ring lights and all of that. And I usually want to do this video while I'm thinking about the issue that I want to talk about while I'm thinking about it. Ngifuna ukuyenza ngenkathi ngicabanga into. So I wanted to talk about triggers when it comes to parenting kids with special needs or being a special needs mom. It always sounds wrong when you say you're a special needs mom because it almost sounds like you're saying you are the one that has special needs, which you do because when you have a special needs child, you do have special needs for your child. But sometimes you have a special needs mom, like there are moms who have special needs and they have kids who are not necessarily special needs kids, but they are special needs moms. That happens too. So it always sounds like, you know, but I'm a mom of a child with special needs. Now, I want to talk about things that are triggering, that have been triggering for me. I think one of the things is ages, you guys. Milestone ages, especially. I had a really, really hard time at the age where was supposed to go and start grade one, and I had a really, really difficult time that whether it was January or February of that year, it was, and it was I was triggered so much. I think because I did not expect it, I did not think about it. I did not think I was getting to a point where I was accepting the situation and moving forward and doing the best that I can, and not even thinking about what the other kids that are her age were doing at the time. But I think the minute that I realized that it was that time, it was a hard time. And this year is the same because this year, I guess not really this year, but this year and next year. This year because she turned 13. We all know the big 13. But also, she would have been going to high school next year, and the kids that are same age as her are going to uh, high school. Okay, so but now because I know how it was like when she was supposed to be starting school, I sort of have prepared myself, but it's a difficult one. Also, it's a difficult one this year, and I guess moving to next year also because obviously she's turning 13. She's a girl. There's things that we're going to have to deal with, and there are decisions that we're going to have to make as parents that I wish that she would have a contribution to what she wants to do, even if she did have CP, but her CP was not so severe that she cannot express to me that, you know what, mom, I would actually prefer for you to do this instead of the other. And I think God has been graceful in a sense that He has delayed some of the things because the doctors have been talking about it. If when this happens, we're going to make some decisions and all of that. And maybe He felt I'm not ready for it. That's why it hasn't happened. But it's hard because then you realize my child is growing, and the more the older they grow, the difficult are the decisions, because then you realize really like every single decision as far as this person's life is concerned is on me, on what I'm gonna decide for them, to even have a comfortable life. I'm going to have to be the one to make that decision for the rest of of my life. Okay, there are other things that I try to stay away from thinking about. I try to stay away from thinking too much about the future, but sometimes you can't help because you have to prepare for the future. And I try to not think too much about what would happen to her when I'm gone or her father is gone. Because I think obviously if I'm gone, her father will take care of her. If he's gone, I'll take care of her. But what if we are both not around? And it's very difficult because people will always say, but things like that, you have to prepare for them. It's when under normal circumstances, yeah, because you just have to make sure that you are leaving money behind for the kids. And we have a big family. I'm sure there will be somebody that would watch over the kids, but it's a different thing, you guys. It's a different thing to think about who will take care of her. And it's even more difficult to put it down. It's difficult for me to be like, I would sit down and put it somewhere and say, I want this person, because this person, whoever that person is, they have their own things that they're dealing with, you know. And I know it's doable because I'm doing it. And in a way, I don't have a choice because I'm the mother. But when other people, so for me, when I'm thinking about it, to say other people will have a choice to say no to taking this on, would somebody say yes to it? It's a difficult one because I know I'll be gone and she'll probably be fine because Siposetsu is loved by both sides of the family, her father's side of the family and my side. And I know that she will be okay, but it's very, very hard to think about that, you guys. Other things that are triggering is certain comments that people would say, and I think I manage them better now than I did in the past. But things like people like saying, "What is wrong with your child?" And I have learned to, when someone is asking a question, even if they're asking it in an inappropriate way, to think about what their intention was. If they, I feel like it was, they were not having an evil intention behind it. They really just were asked. Basically, a lot of the time when someone says, "What's wrong with your child?" they're asking, what condition do they have? You know, they're just asking it the wrong way. You know, but I've learned to think about it. Is this person really saying there's something wrong with my child, or they just want to know what's um they want to know the condition, you guys. The other thing that triggers me is when, I don't know how to put this one. In my last video, I did talk about it in my last vlog, where I said sometimes, let's say we're in the hospital and it's full in the hospital, and then she's tired of sitting in the wheelchair, and then I go to the nurses and I say, can I just please go in front of the queue because she's tired of sitting in the wheelchair, she can't wait like the other children. And maybe the nurse will be like, I just arranged for another, just arranged for another appointment. That thing would trigger me to a point where, like, almost like I feel like I expect people to understand that for me to get from point one to point B, as a special needs parent, I don't want to do it twice for the same thing because it's so difficult. So it's like situations where people make it like this is not a big deal. Of course, you can get your child to the hospital again for the same thing. Those things trigger me, you guys. I think I'm better now because I don't get emotional all the time about every single thing when it comes to the situation. But there was a time where, like, I felt like tears were just right here. Like, you could just say the simplest of thing, and like, I'll be crying about it. But it gets better. Like, you know, uh, when they say time heals all wounds, you know, even if it doesn't really heal the wound, but you get used to the wound being there, and you learn to walk with the wound, and you learn to walk in a way that it doesn't scratch the wound too much, so that not every time you move the wound bleeds. So when they talk about time heals all wounds, sometimes just time does that. It just makes you get used to that wound being there, and you know how to move with it, because it's not all wounds that will be healed. I don't want to lie, especially in a situation like this. Sometimes the wound is not healed, but you learn to move with it, because you can't be like all the time about it. That's why I always, like, people would say, uh like someone has said on even on this channel, that, and you make it look so easy. And I don't know, that thing always bothers me, because I always feel like I started this channel because I wanted other mothers to feel like they're not alone, you know. But I always feel like if I make it look easy, then the other parents cannot really relate to that, because I know, because I know that it's not easy. Like, every time I see a mom, even at the mall, you guys, every time I see a mom with a child on a wheelchair, because I can relate to that more. I mean, there's different other conditions because the children can have, but every time I see a mom somewhere with their child on a wheelchair, like I wanna go, like shake their hand or something, and be, just for being here, for being just for being here at the mall. Let me shake your hand. I know it would be weird for me to do it, but honestly, you guys, like sometimes I'm like I wanna go and say like, girls, just for being here at the mall with your child. The fact that you got here today, let me shake your hand. Let me give you some flowers, okay? Because I know how hard it is, you guys. Anyway, that's all that I wanted to talk about. But let me share this story, which I don't know if I've shared, because sometimes I share stories that I've shared before, only because it's coming to my mind while I'm doing this video. Okay. So, you guys, people would say, what is the right thing to say to a mom of a special needs child? And I say that a lot of the times when you meet people on the street with their kids, you don't say anything when you don't know them. So I guess the right thing to say is not to say anything. But in case you want to say something, or you're feeling like you have to say something, just say something encouraging. Okay, let me tell you the story. One day I was trying to remember how did me and supposed to end up at Woolworths in town, because I think it was Woolworths in town. We were not at the mall somewhere, and I think it had been her appointment earlier on that day, because usually when we go to supervisors appointments, we don't go and we go to the hospital, we come back home, because by the time we need to come back home, like we're done for the day. So, but we ended up at the hospital. So I can't remember. What was it? Not at the hospital, at Woolworths in town. I'm just in Devon. I'm just trying to remember what's Konje. What was the, but I can't. So we were at Woolworths, and there is this maybe a woman in her 50s, um you know doing shopping, at Rolex, when you're just looking at the clothes. So I would be at one eye looking at the clothes or whatever, and then I will see her, and then I would be at another section, and then I would see her. Sometimes you can be at Rolex for like 3 hours not even noticing, looking at clothes and whatever, and then I would be at another section. And then later on that day, I was about to go to the tills in the food section, and she was coming she was walking out to walk out of the Woolworths store. So she just came close to me and acted like, when someone wants to whisper something to your ear. And then she said to me, I just wanted to let you know that, and she said it in Zulu, so it really did sound different, because and she said, no, I just wanted to let you know that you're really taking a good care of your child. She looks happy, she looks very, very clean, and I just wanted to say, keep up the good work. And I remember that I wouldn't even be able to see this woman even if I met her, because while I was shocked by the fact that she was saying that, and by the time I turned around, she was walking out really fast. But that thing, because at that time, because it was really earlier on in our journey, I think Siposet was like on her very first wheelchair, and I was still even getting used to the whole thing of maneuvering myself around the wheelchair and making sure my child looks okay and all when she's in public and all of that. That has always been the thing for me. And then she was gone. And because it was so early on in my journey, I remember how much that those words rang in my ear a lot of the times when I was having a difficult time. When I was it's a woman I don't know, I've never met before, I don't think, you know. And those words have rang in my ear many, many times, you know. So I would say that if you see a mom of a child with special needs or disabilities, and you just feel like you have an edge to say something encouraging, uh don't poke too much into like asking them a lot of questions, because a lot of the times, you guys, you can just get someone in there, like I'm trying to act normal and do normal things. Sometimes I don't want to always be reminded that this is not a normal situation. So yes, you guys, I just wanted to say that even though this video was not really about that. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.